Hi, my name is Lane Kalina, General Manager of Farmers Union Oil Company in Alexandria. We have a location also in Garfield convenience store. We deal in bulk fuels, propane. We have 2 convenience stores, a full service shop, tire department. And whenever you're coming by our location on Broadway or Garfield, we invite you to stop in and check out all the things we have to offer. We are a cooperative and we do pay dividends to our customers, and it is a true locally owned co-op where we are self-sufficient. We're owned by our members, and all dividends, anything that's made here is paid back to our customers. So stop in and check us out and buy a tank of gas.
Remember to get your tanks filled at Phoenix in Alexandria.
Hi, Kyle Dickman here at Dickman's Jewelry in downtown Alexandria. And this fall, I'd just love to invite you to come down to scenic downtown Alexandria. And while you're shopping, stop into Dickman's Jewelry. We're at 111 6th Avenue West. We're between Broadway and the post office. We're a little town jewelry store that has a big selection. You don't need a lot of room for a lot of selection here at Dickman's Jewelry. So keep us in mind this fall, where you're coming up for the cabins for closing, or if you just wanted to spend a relaxing day downtown. This was Kyle Dickman again, Dickman's Jewelry in downtown Alexandria.
Welcome to Inform TV. I'm Alan Repke, Alexandria, Minnesota. Today, the 17th day of November, Sunday morning TV is our topic of the day, and we're just going to take a look at some of the things that the public's being exposed to, yet we lead to no solution, no resolution of the problems we face in any manner, shape, or form. Been super busy on trying to get the final touches on the IDS and get the money in here and here. That eyelash between success and failure, as they say, and kind of mind-boggling that nobody's taken me up on my offer of buying 1% of Inform TV for 1% for $25,000. I walking around town a little today, just getting some exercise, and looked at a new house in by the old school here in Alexandria, and 1,200 square foot house put together on a budget, of course, and it's new, obviously, but $214,000 for a little tiny house and 2-car garage in just kind of the middle of town. No fancy lot or anything like that. You look out the window and you're looking at the school building. Here I've got a signal that's on top of the IDS and covers the entire Twin City market, and nobody wants to come on board. And I don't know if I would give some $5,000 or $6,000, make a club membership for a group of people at $25,000 or $30,000. Get some interest, but I've got some other things happening, but I need to get things done in November, and I'm just kind of baffled why there is no interest. But anyway, Al at informtv.com if you're interested. Lots of things going on, and when I looked this morning at the whole situation with the topics that the so-called the pundits, people that should be giving the general public some good advice, you're just saying this is just more of the same. And when we look at our world of a leaderless world, we did have a green shoot on the horizon this morning on Fox Sunday anyway. Liz Cheney. I was very impressed by her as she was being questioned by Chris Wallace, who I think does an excellent job, by far the best of the Sunday morning hosts. And her reaction to these various questions were right on target. That we have a senator from Wyoming, a Republican state, that hopefully, if everything falls together, I've got an option on a signal in Wyoming, and I want to do something there soon. As soon as I finish this thing on the IDS and get that taken care of and in stone. listening to her comment, they have a senator, a Republican senator, that's been there for what, 18 years is my understanding, or some length of time anyway. I think that's the right amount. And yet he hasn't delivered. He brought the old problems of the 20th century into the 21st century, and the Republicans are out there scratching their head. You know, who should we have? And their issue is she's not a Wyoming resident. She's been in the Washington, D.C. area for a number of years, and that's where her family is. I think it's Washington anyway. It's not. And now she's recently moved back to Wyoming. But the reality, we've all kind of forgotten the point that these are U.S. senators, people. They are there to take care of the good old USA. They're not supposed to be carpetbaggers taking care of their own little state, their own little district, and that type of thing. And the thing that hit me when I was listening to her is, why aren't the Republicans in this state and the nation saying, hey, have that old senator resign and let the Republican governor appoint her the new senator. Let's get this young woman in there and see if she can get something done. We know these old codgers aren't getting anything done. And the interesting thing about that facet, if the people of Wyoming decided, no, they don't like what she's doing, and I don't think that's going to be the case in any manner, shape, or form, they could still run him next in the 14 election cycle. At least I think that's the way the Constitution allows. You can resign, and he could say for health reasons or personal reasons or whatever, and then decide to try to run again. And what I'm getting at, we know the present guys aren't doing the job. And she seems to have two stiff ones, as they say, that can take people on. Her dad, I always called him a traffic light Republican. One day he was red, and I would think, what is he thinking? The next day yellow. I guess that's all right, whether it's vice president or his health reasons. Years ago, I thought he should be president, and then I looked at his health situation. I thought, we can't trust somebody with that many health issues, but he ended up vice president anyway. And then there's a green side of him that, yeah, Cheney, I support you and what you're talking about, but the reality is I was more impressed with his daughter than I have been of him in the last decade or so. And we've got to get some new people there, and just plain and simple. And that would be a thought for you Republicans out there, that you just can't talk about something. We have to do something. And the other thing with our just the passage of Veterans Day, what was the 11th of November, and when some of the veterans, the old veterans of World War II, Pearl Harbor and those type of things, when you caught some clips of those guys, they always said we've got to be observant, and we have to be ready to react. And when I look at our world right now, people, when I look at the European situation, when we look at what's happening globally on energy, and whether it's planet heating or whatever, there are just so many things that we just do not have a leader. And then when we look at our leadership situation, one of the things they were talking about, how Obama's got egg running down his face totally on this healthcare issue, and but at the same time, he has no background. People, we elected a president with basically no leadership experience. No one, he's never had to really face an issue. He was a lawyer and basically a community watch person. And when you look at his resume, he's a professional orator. Orators don't know how to solve problems. They know how to talk about them. And when we look at this situation, I also look at the Republicans. They were talking on Sunday morning how the Republicans are going to gain from this thing. The reality was also brought up is, what is the alternative that the Republicans are offering for health care? And the same old, same old. There's 30 million people without health care. And there's probably at least 60 million or more that don't take care of their health on a preventative type basis. Why? Because of cost and or their fear of what the cost is going to be. So when the Republicans think they can just sit back in their laurels and say, well, we're winning on this Obamacare, it's a disaster. Believe me, I know that, and it's a disaster here in Minnesota. We got April, you Democrats out there. I've tried to talk to those MNsure people. I said, come on, I'll give you free airtime, talk about the issues. They're just a massive bureaucracy. And the whole issue of this thing is everybody needs health care. And for the average citizen or the people without health insurance, like myself, all of a sudden this thing will get implemented unless they get the Democrats to go along with them and say, just stop it dead in its tracks. Because the reality, people, is once people start signing up for Obamacare, they're going to love it. Why? It's just like federal crop, and I always talk to you about the federal crop insurance. These farmers just love it. And look at these beet farmers. We're going to have more on that this coming week, and some other issues. When you subsidize basically 60% of a cost of something you need, hey, Republicans, the general population is going to love that. And surprisingly, a bunch of your Republican buddies are going to like it. Is it sound economics? Is it sound policy? Of course it's not sound policy. It's not. It doesn't reduce deficits or anything like this. This outrageous numbers we have when we look at our budget and that kind of thing. But as far as getting support, if they ever get the things worked out a little bit and start getting people signed up, people are going to say, I love this. Why? Because it doesn't cost them hardly anything. And the truth of the matter is, you Democrats out there, or Republicans, if they would just come to Alan Repke, I could get everybody, all 30 million people, including myself, insured with Obamacare. Obama insurance is what it really is. By the first year, it would be no problem whatsoever. I could make it so incredible easy for them to sign up. Just call me, give me 10% commission, same commission you're giving those insurance agents. And we would have a meaningful health coverage and make it extremely simple, and all of a sudden the Republicans would have egg raining down their face. Wouldn't address the cost, just like when the Douglas County Democrats had me in to film their meeting of the old hospital administrator and 2 doctors there. Well, nobody's addressing cost. Duh. We know that, and we have to address cost. And this whole thing on Sunday morning TV was kind of hilarious when you hear the various points of view on this thing. And then there's the other issues they talked about is all of a sudden Thanksgiving, all these stores are opening up earlier and earlier and earlier, and with total disregard for anybody that works in retail to spend time with their family. Yet at the same time, I, as a Christian and as a good American, would say it's just as non-family for the families that do gather. Instead of talk about things about grandpa and grandma or our mom or one of the kids that needs some help with college or what's really going on, just sit in the house and discussing, everybody's going to want to run off and shop. I mean, it's just absurd. And we hear things such as, well, there's less shopping days in this season. They really need to do it. And I'm going, what kind of world of idiots have we allowed academia to turn out that think there isn't enough days between Thanksgiving and Christmas this year to get your shopping done unless you start on Thanksgiving? People, we live in a world of misfits in charge of the system, and I just continue just to shake my head. And the other thing they had talked about, they had George Will and Woodward, the author of the Watergate author, and they were talking about it just seems everything is coming apart. It seems like it's coming apart. It is coming up things apart, and I just shake my head. And the issue of opening earlier. People, if we really had churches that were biblical, where churches were involved in family lives, whether it's your Catholic church, my ELCA church, the Methodist church in town, the Big Covenant church in the area, or whatever church you go to, and we had a governor and a legislator that really represent family and common sense as far as what should go on. People, we'd have a special session of the legislature. They'd all go down there and say, we're going to pass a law. There's going to be no stores opened in Minnesota until 9 a.m. On Black Friday. Plain and simple, here going forward. But instead, we've got both Republicans and Democrats all looking out for money, 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 as the song goes. It's just despicable. And there's just continually one item after another that pops up that there is no resolution. I'm going to take a quick break here. Be back in a moment.
Hi, I'm Greg Wales from Wales Hearing Center. We have offices in Alexandria, Fergus Falls, Morris, and Long Prairie. I'm board certified in hearing instrument sciences, a past president of the Minnesota Hearing Healthcare Providers, and a member of the International Hearing Society. We're also proud to be part of the Starkey Hearing Alliance. Starkey has introduced the SurfLink Mobile, and we are making it available to anybody who comes to Wales Hearing Center and says, we heard about the Starkey SurfLink Mobile on Inform TV. Anytime between now and the end of the year, anybody who comes to Wales Hearing Center and says, we heard about the Starkey SurfLink Mobile on Inform TV, and purchases hearing aids from us will receive a free SurfLink Mobile, a $629 accessory. It allows your hearing aids to become your Bluetooth telephone. It allows your hearing aids to become a link to your television so that your television and your hearing aids make a new home theater experience. You'll hear in stereo at the level that you like, corrected for your hearing, and it won't bother anybody else in the family. The Starkey SurfLink Mobile is also a remote control. It allows you to adjust the volume of your hearing aids and to change the environment setting of your hearing aids depending on whether you're in a quiet place, a noisy place, outside, or just sitting quietly having a normal conversation. Please remember, between now and the end of the year, the SurfLink Mobile is free to anybody who comes to Wales Hearing Center and says, we heard about the SurfLink Mobile on Inform TV. Thank you.
Welcome back to Inform TV. I'm Alan Repke in Alexandria. We're going to continue on our discussion with Sunday Morning TV, the 17th day of November. And one of the things that caught my attention that just baffles me of the pundits thinking they were talking about Hillary and then Elizabeth Warren, the new senator from Massachusetts that beat a guy that should still be there. There's no question about that. And the fact that she would bring something to the table. When I look at Hillary clearly would bring little or nothing to the table. She couldn't even beat Obama. And then they talk about this Elizabeth Warren as this new force to straighten out economics and all that type of thing. People, Elizabeth Warren was the darling of Wall Street, was darling of all the big futures traders and that type of thing. Sure, they changed stuff a little under this disgusting name Dodd-Frank, but they haven't addressed in any manner, shape, or form the real issues there. And if she was the real hammer that they think she is, she would have changed this. There have been massive prosecutions at the time, court cases against these big-time traders that brought about this whole meltdown in 2008 and 2009 and all the garbage leading up to it. Yet at the same time, most of it's still in place, people. We're still based on a speculative, margin-traded marketplace, and outside forces, the heck won't have it. Just blows my mind mind that they think of her as a solution to any of our problems. Just absurd. And the other thing, one of the things we're seeing on, we didn't, I guess I saw maybe on a commercial today, again, was Al Roker, the weather person from the Today Show, early morning NBC TV anyway, and he was talking about we need more good teachers, and he was giving these statistics about how we're not going to lead up and as far as the people we need, and obviously we need a strong workforce that's educated from a standpoint of understanding what is really going on. But unfortunately, I don't see that happening, or we wouldn't have all these billionaires. We would have a broadening of wealth. And what we do need, people, we know we have people incredibly talented, incredibly gifted. You know, we watch certain TV programs, we go to certain movies, people like to listen to a certain politician or corporate leader. And what I'm talking about here is today with fiber and the internet and satellite technology, then we need to focus on, we don't need more good teachers, we need to focus on the truly gifted teachers and the message that they have, to see that message is in every classroom. Clearly all of us in our educational lifetime, there were certain teachers that really motivated us, and from a standpoint of today, with all the powers of fiber and internet, we should have those gifted teachers in every classroom of the United States, and especially here in Minnesota, if we are truly to be the North Star state, which I want it to be just like you. And to not be tapping the very best and then spreading your signal. There's two industries that catch me of total inefficiency. That is one, our educational system, when we think we have to have one-on-one or very small classrooms. The reality is we can't afford that. We can afford small classrooms to help if we get these gifted teachers in every room. The other thing that was in the news on that issue, I believe it was, they were talking once again about the ranked choice voting that just took place in for our audience in the Minneapolis Twin City area. It is the fact that we have to be talking, and must be talking, what kind of mess would we have had with ranked choice voting under the Norm Coleman, Al Franken debacle, as far as counting and recounting. Can you imagine, people, what kind of mess we had had if we'd had ranked choice voting in that senatorial election here just a few years ago? I mean, it would be just mind-boggling. They'd probably still be counting ballots on that thing, and unfortunately that we never did count the last 3,000 that I think would have made a difference in that race, even though when more I look at Franken focusing on all these trivia issues, we didn't have a good choice either way. But truly, I think there is a place for ranked choice ballot, but that's strictly and totally in a primary. If we're going to get good leaders to run and the electorate really understanding what their choice is on election day, we want to have two people on the ballot. Plain and simple. The highest two, I don't care if they come from the Independence Party or a true independent candidate or Republican or Democrat, we want it down to two. And the present primary system we have is a joke. I participated in that a couple times, and just absolutely ridiculous to think that that is something that we should be continuing on. We're the statewide offices with a three-party system now, with the Independence Party throwing some people in there. We just about assured all our constitutional officers or statewide officers are going to be heavily favored Democratic, strictly because of what a three-party system does. And the other thing that was in the news, they talked about and had on Betsy Hodges, the new mayor of Minneapolis, and talked about some of her issues, and she was going along with Mayor now I'm blanking his name, but you know I'm talking about, the former mayor, or still mayor of Minneapolis. She's going to continue on with some of his work and the excellent job he did. People under a weak mayor system like we have here in Alexandria and they have in Minneapolis, you don't get your value out of a good person whether you like them or not. I mean, you have to have a strong mayoral system, and Minnesota's process of all these weak mayors around the state is absurd. And some of the issues that she's facing that need to be addressed is obviously that Target Center. Now they approved almost $100 million of that. A big chunk of it's going to come from money indirectly from the state of Minnesota, some from the city, some from Glenn Taylor. But the reality, if there was a building that should be knocked down, is that cockeyed Target Center. And all Minnesotans should be asking, and hopefully I get down to the Twin Cities and meet with these people as I get some of these things ironed out. My fiber is in up to the roof of the IDS now, and I'm waiting for a cross connect on Monday, and hopefully a little money changes hands here, there, and everywhere and keeps everything going. But the reality in this whole process down there, what kind of interior of the building are they going to have? Is it going to be as good or better than the XL Center over in downtown St. Paul? Truly, unless it's going to be as good or better, once again, it's a waste of money. We should be doing what Glenn Taylor talked about. We should have a new building. And we get some financial support from some of you people or some organizations, banks, whatever. We need to be talking about this. And the other issue, their convention center, and we look at the whole thing in Minneapolis. I would contend, without the state of Minnesota being the bailout king for Minneapolis, it's got ridiculously high taxes, some sales taxes that I believe go up to like 16% on certain items and certain events, high real estate taxes. The mayor there continued to raise the taxes, and yet at the same time, Big Brother, state of Minnesota, want to come along on a number of issues. The teacher pension deal was an absolute disaster here about a decade ago, something like that, or maybe not quite that long ago, where we bailed them out and let them come into the teachers' pension system statewide. There's just issue after issue that Minneapolis has failed to see that they have the revenue or focused on things they should be focusing on to make that city strong. Because I truly believe, you people in Minneapolis, that they need to be the center of the spoke, and I favor light rail. We want to do some coverage of that going forward here, both the part going over to St. Paul and the part going out to Eden Prairie. We've got some unique ideas on that. I've had experience with dealing with railroads, and I'm going to try to give you some very unique perspective on that, let you see some things that the soundbite TV just doesn't show you, for one reason: to improve things and to see that taxpayer dollars are spent wisely for the average citizen to benefit from this, and all citizens. And the other thing that hit me on morning TV today was when they were talking about this health care debate again. Tom Brokaw brought up the fact that he mentioned that 17.5% of our economy now goes to health care. People, that is mind-boggling. And I would contend that our Republicans, their position on abortion is a big part of that, of putting this incredible guilt trip on families and women, that the fact that any conception should be brought into the world. And some of the costs on these individuals, yes, we love them and we'll take care of the ones that are here, but what I'm saying is we need to look at what is taking place with modern medicine. People, we are having individuals that the cost of those individuals are just mind-boggling for a lifetime, and the education system and so on and so forth. There's a lot of tough decisions involved in the healthcare issue, and to not address them early on is a travesty. And if we don't, the cost of medication, the cost of one-on-one, to take care of the families that have individuals that need incredible health care. Obviously, anybody that runs into that life, we have to take care of them. We have to take care of these people once they get in. I'm a Christian and Christian first. But the reality of early on in the reproductive stages, there has to be certain markers where we can see family, young lady, mother. This is not going to be the apple of grandpa and grandma's eyes. The cost is going to be outrageous. We cannot let the marvels of medicine break us. And people, that's what's happening. Thanks for listening to Inform TV. I'm Alan Repke, Alexandria, Minnesota.
To find local classifieds online, go to bluebirdshopper.com. Just type in bluebirdshopper.com in your address bar or search for it and you'll find it. It's easy to place an ad. You just click the place ad button in the upper right and you can type your ad in, and it's simple to do. We also have events and all kinds of items on the site. We also have a mobile version, so you can find bluebirdshopper.com on your mobile smartphone.